Okay, I'm Larry Wymore. I'm here to interview
Ida Glass Brisky.
Okay, and we're going to talk about your memories, going all the way back to as far as you can, to a place where you lived, but a place that you can see clearly in your memory. Can you see a place like that?
I don't know how old I was, but I could see we lived in an apartment.
Where was that?
On 69th and Cedar, near Giddings School. They, I think, were on 71st.
Do you remember the address of that place?
Not that one.
Okay. But you remember that place?
I remember it was an apartment.
Yeah. And if we were standing in front of your apartment and we opened the door together, can you tell me what kind of rooms we're going to go through? You can't see it in your memory?
That I can't, because I must have been about 4 or 5 years old.
Okay, let's go to the...
I do remember a porch.
You remember a porch?
And we used to sit on the porch, and we had a bicycle.
Yeah? Now, where was that? When you were living
in that building.
In that building?
And I have a picture.
Okay. You can see that?
I can see that.
Okay. So, all right.
I can almost see what I wore that day.
Really? What did you wear?
My aunt was a dressmaker.
Yeah.
And she had made us, at that time they must have been rompers.
Yeah.
It's a long time ago.
Right.
And I don't know. Oh, I have that picture.
Yeah.
I have it handy.
Yeah.
We were wearing rompers.
Yeah. But you weren't in school then, right? You were not in school at that time?
I might have been in school about 4 or 5 years old.
Okay, let's talk about that school. But if you can remember this, let's talk about this apartment for a second first. Who lived in that apartment besides you?
My sister, his family, and I don't know anybody else then.
Okay, so your mother?
My mother and father.
What was your mother's name?
Sarah.
Sarah?
Glass.
Glass. And your father's name?
Jacob Glass.
Glass. Okay. And your sister?
My sister Ethel.
Ethel?
My brother Julius.
Julius? That's great. Okay, now...
And my sisters. Go ahead.
What about your brother? How old was he? Was he older?
Well, he was 5 years older.
Older than you?
Yeah, older.
Okay.
My sister was 6 years older.
Oh, so you were the baby?
No, I have a sister that lives at Myers.
Yeah?
She's a year younger than I am.
And what's her name?
Florence.
Okay. All right. And your mother and father, well, you told me who they were already, didn't you?
They're what?
You told me about your mother and father, right? You gave me their names. You gave me their names.
Yes.
Okay.
Sarah and Jacob.
Yeah. All right. So, you lived in that apartment that you can remember until, at what time did you move out?
We must have moved out. I was in kindergarten.
When you were in kindergarten?
Because we moved to 111th.
Yeah. 111th?
And Lynn Drive.
Oh, in Lynn Drive. Right.
And from there, that was 1099.
Yeah. 1099?
1099 East 111th Street.
You want to hear something funny? You know where I lived? On 1021 Parkwood Drive. A block away. And so what school, you went to what school?
I went to Parkwood.
Parkwood School. So did I. Did you have any good teachers there that you remember?
I remember the names.
Do you?
Miss Robinson.
Yeah.
Robinson.
Yeah.
I remember her because of her figure.
Yeah? Why?
Well, the way she's just, kind of curvy.
Yeah?
And I know that she lived, I think, next door to the school or right along Parkwood Drive.
Yeah. And
Miss Robinson.
Did she teach you anything that you remember?
She must have taught me because it was the first, second, third grade.
Right.
So most of it must be in my head somewhere.
Right. I remember a teacher that when I was in the 5th grade, I went to Taylor School, and there was a woman, Himmel.
I don't remember.
Anyway, she said to us, she says, I want you to remember something. Very important. She said, no matter who you meet, I want you to remember two things. Number one, most likely, there's something they can do that you can't do. So don't be too proud. On the other hand, there's something you might be able to do that she can't do, so you don't have to be too humble either. And if you want to have an incredible conversation, somebody that you just met, if you could try and find out what she does that you can't do and share with her what you can do that she can't do, you will have an incredible conversation. And she didn't realize that every single time up till now, from the 5th grade in school, every time I get on an airplane, I think of her because I'm always sitting next to somebody that I never met before. And I try to find out what they can do that I can't do and vice versa. Something that I will never forget. Well, anyway, so did you have any friends in school at that time?
Yeah, well, the kids we played with.
Yeah? Anybody special that you remembered?
I kind of special with the kids that lived on the corner.
What were their names?
Ethel Cohn.
Yeah.
Ruth Cohn.
Yeah.
She was wonderful.
Yeah.
She was a nurse.
Yeah.
And then there was a cousin of theirs.
Uh-huh.
She was, I don't know what she was, but she must have been a little heavy because she took diet pills.
Yeah.
And died.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. How old was when she
died? She must have been in her teens.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Or maybe in her.
But she was young.
She was young.
Okay. Couldn't have died at
No.
that age. Right. Okay. Was there any subjects that you had in school that you really liked?
Not really, because I was kind of shy.
Yeah.
Now I can talk about it.
Yeah.
And I don't think that I was shy.
Yeah.
Well, no, it was shy.
Yeah.
But I thought I wasn't as smart as I could have been.
Well.
And I find now that I'm a lot smarter than a lot of people, and
right.
I do a lot of things that I wouldn't have attempted, like talking to you.
Yeah. What kind of things do you like to do?
Well, mostly I like to sew. I like to knit.
You like to knit?
And you see the pictures on the wall.
Oh my God.
I've made all those Afghans.
Oh my.
I used to make my clothes. Now, if I had a needle and thread, I'd sew a button or something, but I did all those things.
Yeah.
To cooking, well, we had to. Cooking and sewing at Patrick Henry.
Yeah.
And I do remember an incident where in the sewing class we bought material and she said it was good and said that we could use it.
Uh-huh.
And we made smocks.
Yeah.
And it had a pattern.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember where I bought the material.
Where'd you buy it?
Landy's on 105th Street.
Okay.
And when it came to lay it out, I had enough material and all, but because it was an up and down pattern, the sleeves came one way and the smock came, one went up and one went down.
Yeah, I hear you.
So I remember that.
Yeah, well, you learned something from that, didn't you?
That
you learned something.
You do.
They have to match.
You have to match, and you have to do it by enough material.
Right.
That you can always turn the pattern.
Right. Right. My father used to have a business where he sold sewing supplies.
I remember that.
On downtown on Euclid Avenue, called
Schneider's or
Schmidt and Immerman.
Oh yes, Schmidt and Immerman. I remember.
Yeah. Well, my dad worked for them when he came to the United States from Poland. He worked for them until he was.
I can see the buttons in the.
Yeah.
In
a whole bunch of stuff there. Anyway, I used to work there after school, and I really got to know a bunch of people who used to like to buy linings and zippers and buttons and all this other. But it was really interesting for me. But you like to do that kind of stuff, huh?
That's because nobody really had to tell me to do it. I knew how to.
Right.
I was smart enough to do it.
Right.
But as growing up, I didn't think I was so smart.
Oh, but you are. So that's good.
I've come a long way.
But that's what growing up does for you.
I'm not afraid to talk to you. At one time, I'd have been scared.
Really?
Because why should I tell you anything about me? Or what if I didn't do it right?
Oh, don't
see? No, I'm just saying that's the way I was.
I hear you.
And of course, we didn't do a lot of things that you do today in the opportunities that you have. Well, like this, talking to you and telling you and recounting it.
Right. All right, so let's look at this. You told me about elementary school. You went to junior high. Where was that?
Patrick Henry,
right. Any teachers you had there that you can remember?
Miss Rogoff.
Yeah.
Took French.
Oh, you did? Did you like French?
Well, I didn't take it too long. Yes and no, not really, because in those days we really didn't need the things you need today.
Yeah.
And you do different things today.
Yeah.
Now this morning, Chris, I didn't know you were coming.
Yeah.
But I did have therapy. I was supposed to have therapy.
Yeah.
And she came by and she says, Ida, are you doing anything? I says, no, just knitting. I'm making this for one of the aides.
Yeah.
And she says, would you like to be the welcoming committee? And I would have done it.
Yeah.
But the therapy had come a few minutes before.
Yeah.
So there, I had grown up. I wasn't afraid to talk, like I'm not afraid to talk to you.
Yeah.
Because now I don't feel so dumb.
So what did you do when you went to did you go to that other thing? Or not?
No,
you
because
go to it. Okay.
Because it was at a time,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So,
well, but you're obviously a very, very friendly, nice to talk to.
And and the thing is too that so many things that I remember now when I look back, I wasn't dumb.
Yeah.
I just thought I was.
Yeah.
And now I'm not afraid. If they ask me to do something, I do it.
That's great.
And if I had to even get up and speak, I think I would do it.
Really?
I did a lot of volunteer work.
Yeah. What kind of volunteer work did you do?
Well, a lot with the sewing, with the and a lot with at Montefiore. I was there, I think, about 6 years there. I volunteered, cut out magazine papers.
Oh yeah.
Helped thread a needle for somebody.
Really?
Whatever I had to do because they were handicapped.
Yeah.
And I went and I was proud. I didn't hold back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not afraid to talk to you.
That's great.
It just seems those are the things. There's so many things. I graduated from Glenville High School. The night I graduated, it was a big snowstorm.
Yeah.
I can see it, and I must have had my diploma in my hands outside, getting in the car, and I dropped it. After 12 years, they found it the next day.
Oh.
And there were a lot of things.
So you didn't have to get another one, huh?
No, I don't know where it is today.
Oh.
So.
I see some nice pictures around here.
Well, that's all family.
Yeah?
And I guess you know my family, some of them.
Well.
You know the Sokoloffs.
Yeah.
And those are, where's her picture?
Who are those people over there?
That's me.
You?
My wedding picture.
Your wedding picture? And who's your husband?
He's gone since 1972.
Yeah. Was he in the military? Was he in the army?
In the medics.
He was. Was he a doctor?
No.
Was he planning to be?
No.
Uh-huh.
He was a pressman.
Uh-huh.
Printer. And that's when I met him.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you know the Briskys. Norman Brisky.
That name sounds familiar to me.
Joe Brisky, my brother-in-law.
Yeah.
He was he had a factory.
Yeah.
Made ladies' underwear. Do you know the Bogans? There was
I don't think so.
they're a little older than I was.
Yeah.
You,
So when did you meet him?
So that's what I was going to say.
Your husband.
I worked for Erwin and Berger Hat Company.
Yeah.
And Joe had a factory on the 5th floor.
Yeah.
Making ladies' underwear.
Yeah.
Negligees. Negligees and nightgowns for the prostitutes.
Yeah.
Well, that's what his uncle was doing. They made ladies' underwear, slips.
Yeah.
And everybody used to go to buy slips from Joe.
Yeah.
So I met Joe, and he thought I was nice, and I'd like her to meet my brother. So he introduced me, and then shortly after that, he went to the Army. And then we just talked over the phone and went on. A year later, we were married. We moved. He went
out of the Army?
Yeah.
That's when the war was over?
No. 1970. I don't remember.
No, way back. Would it be?
No, he was in the 42. Yeah. And he went to Camp Campbell, Kentucky.
Yeah.
And he wanted me to come down there, so I went. And I remember going down there. I remember going to the terminal on a Saturday night, and there was a football game, and you couldn't get down to the trains or anything. I was going to Camp Campbell, Kentucky. And finally they were only letting the soldiers on and their families. So the soldier was standing next to me, and he says to me, "Tell him you're my wife."
Yeah.
And so they let me down, and I was able to get on the train.
Yeah.
And I was walking. He met me, and Ike and I were walking to the camp after we got there.
Yeah.
And a car drove up and said, "Are you the Briskys?" And I said, "Yes." He was a volunteer. He volunteered, she was a volunteer at the hospital. And she worked with Art. And so, and he must have told her that I was coming.
Yeah.
Well, she saw us walking,
Yeah.
and she came over and asked, and she became our friend. And they owned a car agency. And so they took the suitcases and they took us back to camp. They figured they saw a suitcase and a couple, so.
Right.
And we became friends. And they got me a place to stay across from their house. And then one Christmas time, I remember going there. After I got home, sending them a beautiful poinsettia. And we wrote and corresponded, and then they both passed away.
Wow.
They owned the Ford agency in Camp Campbell. And all of a sudden I forgot the camp. It was Camp Campbell, Kentucky, but it was near Lexington. All of that I forgot all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And we became friends, and whoever I ever met became friends.
Isn't that amazing?
In many ways. And then one day we had a friend, you may have known them, Mel and Koff. They lived on 111th across the street of us.
Yeah.
She was friends with my oldest sister.
Yeah.
And she was a dancer.
Yeah.
Her mother wanted her to be a dancer, so she danced, and she went to New York to live. And when I was stationed in New York, so when I went there one day, I got a little job in a dress shop, and I knit a lot.
Yeah.
So I was sitting in the window knitting, and I must have looked up, and I had tried to contact her for a week.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I see her walking past, and I ran out of the store, and I yelled, "Martha, Martha!" And it seems like I didn't have much of a life, but I really did.
Oh, of course you did.
I did. And she had changed her name to Mariana because a dancer,
Right.
And so she thought, in New York City,
Knows
Martha. Huh. And I went there to live.
Yeah.
And we stayed in a boarding house.
Yeah.
Our own apartment, like here.
Right.
But it wasn't a very nice. He had to be in the middle of the night. He had to get up and go back to camp.
Yeah.
So it was, I think, on 84th Street. I remember. And one night I heard the police in there, and I think must have been a place of prostitution.
Oh, my.
Well, how do you know? It was a nice. She lived there, and everybody had their own places, and you didn't have to be friends with them or anything.
Yeah.
And I was young. What the hell did I know?
So, you married this guy?
Oh yeah, he lived in Cleveland. He came to. We got married.
Where'd you get married?
In Cleveland.
Where?
At home.
At your home?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
And in the middle of the ceremony, the telephone rings.
Yeah.
Somebody was looking for Rabbi Porras.
Was he the rabbi that married you guys? Oh, God.
And he and my sister is married to Rabbi Porras. Was married. He's dead. He died.
Yeah.
His youngest son.
Uh-huh.
And those are all the kids, all of them, my family, my mother and father, their passport pictures.
Oh, those are beautiful pictures.
And that they live in Israel, Gerald Porras.
Yeah. Where in Israel do they live?
In Nevel Daniel. Nevi Biham. It's near Jerusalem.
Okay.
And Gerald is living there now, and that's his sister up there. I got their pictures all over the place. And this one here, I meet a lot.
Yeah.
So the kids.
They want to take pictures of you.
No, they one day, that was my birthday last year.
Yeah.
And they all got together, gave my niece, who is my brother's daughter, is an art teacher.
Uh-huh.
So she put this together.
Oh, nice.
And the kids had the dishcloths I made. They put them on their head.
Uh-huh.
They take all the Afghans I made.
Yeah.
And every time there's a baby, there's another Afghan.
Yeah.
And so they put it all together.
Yeah.
Showing me that they all have them, and they write to me. They know me from here.
Yeah.
And so now I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to.
That's good.
Maybe it seems like it wasn't much of a life, but it is. And I've traveled to Israel 9 times.
Really?
9 or 11 times. I don't think. All of a sudden it left me.
I've been there only 6 times.
And I remember one incident. I guess I was tired and I was snoring. One of the kids didn't want to sleep next to me. But they love me and they call me, and that's Rabbi Porras, the one in the corner there. That's his brand new one. That one I never saw.
Uh-huh.
And the kids send me pictures and they write me letters.
Yeah.
And
all right, so let's talk about the kids. Do you have any children of your
own?
No.
No.
Okay. What other kids were in your family?
I had
Your sister?
I have 3 sisters.
Yeah.
We're living.
Uh-huh.
One lives at Myers.
Yeah.
And one he's coming home today from New York.
Uh-huh.
And she has a daughter there. That's Rabbi Porras' granddaughter.
Uh-huh.
And I'm their great aunt in more ways than one.
Yeah, you're right.
When they need something or want something,
yeah,
they know Aunt Ida.
Yeah.
But they're nice to me.
Yeah.
They call me, they write me,
Uh-huh.
and they, one of them keeps teasing me, his granddaughter. One of them, she keeps saying, well, have you met anybody there yet? And I'll say to her, I said, I know what I had. I said, I don't know what I'll get. Sounds silly, but that's the way life is.
Yeah, yeah.
And then my brother,
yeah,
he was in the, I think there is a picture up there
yeah,
of him. He worked for WGG GAR.
Yeah?
He was,
What did you do there?
he was in journalism.
Oh, yeah?
And Sid Andorn, when he was in school, got him a job to help him.
Yeah.
So that started him on the way.
That's nice.
And
Did you have any jobs yourself?
jobs?
Yeah.
I graduated in 39. And you didn't have any jobs.
Uh-huh.
And my sister worked for Ehrman and Berger,
Uh-huh.
Hatton and Hats.
Yeah.
And she got me a job because I knew how to sew.
Uh-huh.
And she worked in the stock room,
Mm-hmm.
handing out ribbons and linings
Yeah.
and things.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to hire me. He said, I'll hire her, teach her how to do the things, and she'll get married and quit. But he hired me.
You did? Good.
And when he locked the doors, when he quit, years
When he
later,
quit.
when he gave up the business,
Yeah.
I was his last employee.
How long did you work there?
That I don't even remember. I know I got married while I worked there,
Yeah.
and he liked my husband, and we used to we'd drive him downtown too.
Yeah.
I know you might have known his son, Harold Ehrman. He committed suicide.
Oh, my God.
And I was his age, and they were afraid to let him, when they had to deliver some hats or something,
Uh-huh.
to let him drive. And not that there was somebody with him, he wouldn't do anything, like try to run away or something.
Yeah.
So I didn't even sew, so I was a caretaker too.
Right.
Of course, he never knew it, but
Yeah.
that was it. And
Yeah.
well, I made more hats that time.
Yeah.
And from there, at one time, I worked for the Army. Not the Army. I worked for when they, see what you know? When they recruited them and everything.
Oh, I understand.
The draft.
Right.
Yeah.
You worked for the draft?
Yeah. I worked for them.
Uh-huh.
And,
How long did you do that?
long time. Wherever I worked, or whatever I did, I stayed a long time.
Good.
And so when they'd have to deliver hats, he was afraid to let them go alone.
Uh-huh. I hear what you're saying.
And so he'd say, go and help them deliver.
Yeah.
So I delivered, I did everything there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was it. I knew a lot of people there.
Uh-huh.
We remained friends. I just noticed in the paper, one of them just passed away. They happened to be friends of my sister's too.
Uh-huh.
You were glad to have a job.
That's right.
I started working at $10 a week.
Really?
And the following week I got a raise. I made $11 a week.
Wow. That's good. Talk a little bit about holidays.
Huh?
Let's talk about holidays. Did your family celebrate any of the holidays, the Jewish holidays? Which ones?
We were always Pesach.
Yeah.
All of them, because we were religious.
Did you go to shul?
No.
Did you go to Hebrew
Sometimes,
school?
no. My brother and sister did.
Yeah.
But there was no money when I was old enough to go.
I hear you.
We used to visit my father in shul.
What shul did he go to?
It was on Parkwood Drive. It was a house. It was, I think Carmel Hall was on Lynn Drive, and they were like back of them.
Okay.
I wasn't interested, so I didn't.
Whatever. Okay. How about trips? Did your family and you go on any trips together?
No, because they didn't do it at that time. You didn't do it like you do today. We were lucky that we went to Camp Wise.
Did you ever go to Cedar Point?
Not till I took Gerald's kids.
Okay, so you went there, but you didn't go there as a kid.
No.
Okay.
My father had to work.
Sure.
Who could take us?
What did your father do?
He's a paper hanger and a painter.
Oh, really? He was busy all the time, I bet you.
Yeah, and it was different,
Yeah.
I remember every Pesach, my father papered the kitchen.
Oh, is that right?
Little things like that.
Yeah.
I remember my father, on a Saturday, got the forfeits.
Yeah.
And we'd sit in the living room on the floor, and he'd read to us.
He'd read to you in which language?
Yiddish.
He did? Did he speak to you in Yiddish most of the time? Or
No, well, my father learned it when he came.
I got you.
He spoke Russian when they didn't want us to know it.
Yeah.
What they said.
My Zadie wouldn't speak any language to me other than Yiddish. He could speak English, but he wanted me to learn Yiddish. And I lived with him until I was 10 years old. So I knew how to speak Yiddish, and I couldn't believe what an incredible gift that was to me, because I've had to use Yiddish so many times. It's amazing. I was going to Israel, and I'll never forget this night. We were sitting at the Seder table, Pesach, and we had a cousin of my wife's there, and he said, telling him I'm going to Israel. He says, well, if you're going to Israel, you have to go see my sister. I said, oh, I'd be happy to go see her. He says, there's only one problem. She only speaks Hebrew or Yiddish. Well, I can speak Yiddish, but I can't speak Hebrew. I said, okay, well, just remember that. So I'm in Israel, and I was thinking about her, and what am I going to say to her, what I wanted to do? I wanted her to take a cab and come a taxi.
Oh, yeah.
And I wanted her to come to our hotel, and I wanted her to have dinner with us. Then we'd go back to her place and schmooze. Okay? So what happened is I called her, sweating all night long, thinking I was going to say it right. And I said to her, if you will aus dir doch nehmen a taxi and kommen zu unsere Hotel and we'll essen zusammen. Listen to me. Oi! She says, "Wir hat meine Zähne rausgeschleppt und sie tut mir weh. It can go nicht essen." I said, good, we'll kommen zu dir. We went to her house and we spent 5 hours speaking nothing but Yiddish. And she reminded me some words that I hadn't used in a long time. And I have to tell you something. What about my Zadie? What a great gift he gave me. And I've used it over and over again. Yeah. Anything you did that you're most proud of?
Well, in many ways, proud of that I can speak out and talk to you.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like I'm behind. I've traveled.
Yeah.
And I've traveled a lot.
Where'd you go?
I went to California.
Yeah.
I went to Hawaii.
Yeah.
I went to Israel.
Yeah. This was when you were still married? When you were married?
Yeah, both.
Yeah.
And went to Florida.
Yeah.
I went to California.
Uh-huh.
You may know some of the cousins.
Yeah.
Did you know Sanford Sanders? His father had a wallpaper store.
No.
And it's a long time ago. Well, Sanford is gone and still.
Yeah.
And I wanted a piece of Kleenex. Could you reach me, box, please? Like that.
Oh.
Thank
Okay.
you. And so, and the cousins, what did we do? We were lucky to make 35 cents an hour of babysitting.
Yeah. Of all the things that you did, something you did that you were really proud of, did you like doing your crocheting and your
I did. I like to sew. I like to. I'm proud of all those Afghans.
Of course you are.
Yeah.
See, these are things that
they love it.
Yeah, you got to do things like that.
I understand. I'm going to be a great aunt. I don't know just when now, but so I'm thinking to myself, there's another Afghan.
Yeah. Oh, so you gave Afghans? Okay.
All those, I made all those Afghans.
I have an aunt who also has the same hobby that you have. She knits, and she belongs to a group in Beechwood called the Happy Hookers.
From they meet at the city hall or something.
You know that?
Yeah, I never been there, but I donated a lot of my yarn When I finished, I donated it to them.
Oh my God. Well, she's always making hats and stuff like that. It's amazing. So I know what pleasure you get out of doing things like that.
Yeah, I get that.
Is there anything you did that you wish you could do over again?
Well, part of my life when I was so shy.
Yeah.
And I was afraid to speak out.
Yeah.
And that.
Did your parents ever talk to you about that?
No, because they didn't talk like that in those years. Your generation already, it was different.
Yeah.
I mean, our generation and that. No, and everybody loved to come to our house.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
My mother, when my friends would sleep over, she'd serve us breakfast in bed.
Yeah.
Just to make it nice. And my father would never let anybody that came to our house walk home at night. And in those years, he did. He'd walk them home.
He did?
He walked them home, made sure they got home.
Oh, is that nice?
Well, we all lived close, really.
Yeah.
But those are things.
Isn't that wonderful?
And there was one lady, an Italian lady, but he used to work for on Union Avenue.
Yeah.
Her husband got killed by a streetcar.
Oh my God.
The streetcars ran there.
Yeah, I remember.
And I don't know if they still do. I haven't been there so many years. And she used to say to my father, he would take us for a ride when he went to collect the money. And she would say, Mr. Glass, why don't you give your kids wine so they'd have rosy cheeks?
Oh, God. Well, it sounds to me like you've been a pretty happy person.
I might have been shy and not happy.
Yeah.
I was bashful
after you got over
when I grew up.
Yeah. Yeah. How long did it take you? When did you start to really feel good about yourself?
When I graduated and I started work, and I think then I volunteered.
So the whole time you went to school, you were shy?
Yes.
The whole time you were in school?
Yes.
Wow.
Because I was afraid to speak up.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to say anything now or even make jokes about myself.
When you were in school, did you do any extracurricular activities like?
No, we had to take gym, so we did gym.
Yeah, yeah.
I used to go to the Council Education Alliance when they were on 105th in the house, if you remember.
Yeah.
And then I started to do volunteer work.
What kind of volunteer work?
Well, at Montefiore.
Yeah.
I helped them sew. I helped them cut pictures so they could make pictures. Whatever they couldn't do with their hands, I did.
That's great. Well, when you started doing that, you probably realized that how much people did what you were doing for them.
Probably, and not even realizing it.
That's right. That's right.
And then I came here. Now I'm somebody here.
Yeah.
What I mean is, they look up to me about the knitting.
Exactly right. And I'll tell you something else. You always have a smile on your face.
Yes, that I think I do, maybe because I'm dumb.
No. You have a warming face that is so beautiful. When I first met you here, I told you, I said, you and I have to sit down and do this together because we're going to have fun together. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it.
And I tell you, I don't mind. It's nice to know and remember these things.
Of course.
I remember my father. There was a store on Kinsman. I get their name all of a sudden. I've known it many times, but he had a toy store.
Yeah.
My father drove.
Yeah.
He didn't. So after work, my father would go and take him home.
Yeah.
So I remember little crazy things.
Yeah.
He used to let us pick out a toy.
Yeah.
So we used to pick out. We were Jewish, so we picked out a Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't have that. And he'd give us each one, my sister and I. And then when I get home, I said, "Let me see it," and I throw it on the floor. That I remember breaking it.
Yeah.
On purpose.
Yeah, I hear you.
And their name was Silver.
Yes.
And they came to this country I heard stories that my father told.
Yeah.
He came to live at our house. Then he went to Israel, was in the army, died, blew out. It's crazy things that you remember.
Your father was in the army?
No.
Oh.
No, my father came here from Israel. He must have been 21.
Really?
That's him up there. And that's my mother.
Oh, up on the top there, yeah.
Those are their passport pictures.
Oh, beautiful.
And those are my sisters that are living now.
Oh, that's...
Gather Portraits, the youngest, and then me.
Huh?
You might have known, you know Norman Brisky?
You know, I can't remember a lot of names.
Sure.
Yeah. It's been a long time.
Well, it's the same thing with us.
Yeah.
I have a nephew. He passed away not so long ago. And his wife works here, Amanda. I lived at Sherman House. His father was the director. What the heck is... Well, he worked there, and his daughter married my nephew. So they come to see me. She comes up sometimes.
You said Schneerman House?
Huh?
Schneerman House?
Yeah.
I'm on the board there.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
What's his name? The manager now.
The new guy, his name is...
It'll come to me. I know him. I know him from Montefiore.
Yeah, he's a really good guy.
I know him from Montefiore, where I volunteered, sewing and cutting papers. And
yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Really good guy. It's interesting to see what's going on there. It's relatively close.
Come in.
Hi for lunch.
Okay.
Oh, it is for lunch?
So we're going to take a break right now, and I want to tell you how much I enjoyed our opportunity to have this time together. And
he's on the board here. He's on the board here. Yeah. No, he's interviewing for a book you're writing.
No. I'm making a record for you, for your family.
Oh.
And I hope I'll make you tell me how many you need, I'll make as many as you want.
Oh.
I put them on a CD, on a disc,
Yeah.
And you can tell me how many you want, and I'll make them for you.
Oh.
And we'll put this on there. You give it to your.
I'll give it to the kids in Israel.
That's right. And you know what else? You will. You won't believe it. You won't believe how precious these things are to those people that you give it to.
See, this is the lady that I'm making the bid for.
Oh, good. Good. Anyway, I want to tell you how much I appreciate it. This was a wonderful experience for me.
It is for me, too.
I know.
Because there was a time when I wouldn't speak up, I wouldn't talk.
I know.
I didn't sing in school.
You didn't?
Miss Critchley,
Yeah.
I told you. You remember that name? He went to the same elementary school.
Yeah.
And I must have been frightened. So
Yeah.
she was testing our voices.
You wouldn't sing.
Nothing. But it ended up. So I sat at the back of the class, never opened my mouth.
Really?
But I answered the questions and the tests and everything.
That's great.
And I've never forgotten her.
So?
Miss Critchley.
Yeah.
And that was in the elementary school.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I can even tell you what seat I sat in the back.
Yeah. Anyway, again, I'll be around here, and you tell me how many copies you want, I'll make them for you.
Well, find out.
You think about it.
You might not want to make that many copies.
Oh, yes, I would. For you, I'd do anything.
Oh, geez, thank you.
Okay, have a good lunch.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
See you.